Okay, it is time for talk time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so exporters of Nigerian-made foods and agriculture produce say they are set to cooperate to increase volumes of export to the United States of America.
Now, they believe this will help them properly benefit from the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which has been in existence till which will be until 2025. Now, this was part of the resolutions reached at a meeting organized by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council in Lagos. Details in this report.
The United States Congress approved the AGOA Act 16 years ago to assist the economies of sub-Saharan Africa and improve economic relations between the United States and the region. The 15-year initial validity period of the Act is up, but the legislation was extended last year for a further 10 years. But just as the watched opportunities provided by the Trade Act fritter away in the last decade and a half, the question is, why are Nigerians not taking full advantage of this economic lifeline?
The challenge is just the information. That is the basic information which the NEPC has actually started today by bringing exporters to tell them the need for them to export through the AGOA. There are a lot of challenges in exports when you talk about other countries, but because AGOA is peculiar to an art for United States of America, so they bring it as a platform for us to export through them. So those challenges will be eased. So it's a good platform.
You are going to a market that is so huge. No individual can meet that market demand. So what you do, you are cooperating so that you can have volume to go. And in doing so, you have what we call one umbrella to access facilities. I mean, they put a facility at the port to use to do business. You are doing for so many people in one umbrella. And at the same time, with the financial house today, they like to see a group rather than deal with individual, because you talk about collateral and all that. The cooperative becomes a collateral.
This meeting, organized by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, wants to redress the shortcomings of the last years and help refocus the government's determination to increase trade in the non-oil sector of the economy. Regulators want to identify challenges exporters face and pave way for smooth business transaction in the U.S.
From the experience shared, we discovered that we are still a drop in the ocean. The American market is big, but we need to tap into it. And that's why you see us talking to the food processors. How can we mainstream them to the real AGOA so that they take benefit of it?
With the 10-year extension of AGOA, another opportunity is here to give non-oil exports business another push. But economic experts say to get the full benefits of the extension, government needs to improve competitiveness of the entire manufacturing sector.
Right, joining us now is former president of Nigerian German Business Group, Germany development economist, Joe Femi Dakunro.
We're talking Nigerian economy.
Nigerian.
Well, he's a Nigerian though. So
no, he's Nigerian, totally Nigerian.
Sure.
We're just talking about his experiences and all of that, and he has really been there trying to get involved in export issues, helping businesses across borders. But it's good to have you anyway.
Thank you.
Now, when it comes to exporting,
Right.
the one thing that is in the mind of Nigerians and they know is oil. Now the oil is no longer that kind of phenomenon, even at the world stage, and even back home, even though it is needed every day. But if we keep oil aside, what is that thing that Nigeria can beat her chest to say we export?
Yeah, basically, excuse me, I was watching that clip. We have to begin with the fundamentals. We are blessed in this country to have so many things that we can export apart from oil. You have ginger root, mushroom, coconuts, cola nut, a lot of them. But the basic fact is this: we have an export promotion council that is outdated. Outdated in the sense that when you go in onto their website, you will discover that you have little or no information that really guides an exporter. I was going through their website and I saw that a lot of photos showcasing signing MOUs and stuff like that. That's not what we mean. You know, if you compare that, I don't want to compare that with America, you know, London, whatever. I want us to look at it. The Kenya Export Promotion Council, South Africa Export Promotion Council, Ethiopia Export Promotion Council. These ones, you go there, you have information. The Export Promotion Council is supposed to give a list of countries and the product to be supplied to those countries. And every week, South African Export Promotion Council sends a lot of which country will want a particular product. So you have to begin to plan how do you involve the exporters in this. Then that aside, you have to look at this. The Nigerian embassies abroad, how well equipped are they? You know, it's sometimes something that you as a Nigerian, you feel ashamed of certain things, but you want to do something, but you don't get the support. If you are sending, when I was looking at the screen of the ambassadors, you know, and you're saying you have to sing the national anthem and read the pledge, that is not the only thing we need to do. I think we've been making so many mistakes, just like the way you screen the ministers, where you don't have the portfolio. If you want to send someone to Germany, for instance, is that person knowledgeable about that country? Can he speak the language? So those are the things affecting our export promotion in this country. Take, for instance, Germany. You are sending someone to Germany. How many times have you seen a Nigerian ambassador appearing on the national television of those countries? But here, if you see an American ambassador coming to this country, he learns how to speak Pidgin English. I can tell you that authoritatively, because when the American embassy wanted to begin to teach their diplomats about Pidgin English, they approached me. And they said, we wanted this dictionary, you know, written by Baba Willie, we call him. He wrote a dictionary, a Pidgin English dictionary. So they use that to teach their people. So that when you think you are speaking Pidgin English before a diplomat, he said, the exporters, they have this product, but they don't know, most of them, which country to go. What are the conditions? You talk about AGOA, fantastic. Are we utilizing that opportunity enough? I tell you, no. So these are the fundamental issues we have to begin to look at. And then when you have an embassy whereby even the guy who is in charge of visa control is a German, that is not good for this country. So there are a lot of things we have to begin to teach. And our trade desk, or the economic desk you call it, are they having enough or sufficient information to give to exporters? No. So that is why I have said, if the Export Promotion Council is not effective, scrap it or merge it with the Ministry of Trade and Industry so that we have competent people who can do that. If you are telling me your event calendar, the event calendar as at now on the Export Promotion Council shows nothing. And what you will find there is something, 2 activities, one in 2014 and one in 2015. That is not competent enough. So now we have to find, now we are talking about the problems, but there will be solutions to it. And the solutions are simple. We have to encourage our exporters to grow themselves together.
Yeah, we'll come to the solution, certainly, because there are still other challenges. We'll have to look at the challenges, then I guess the solutions will come. Now, exports increase the earnings of a country, and this transforms into overall development. Crude oil has been the major source of revenue generation in Nigeria since its discovery, and with the oil price slides, attention is now moving to non-oil exports as major revenue earner for Nigeria.
Let's go back in time. Prior to the discovery of oil, Nigeria's exports were mostly non-oil commodities, with agricultural export taking the major share and contributing about 15% to the country's gross domestic product. The country was once listed among countries of the world with huge agricultural potential. The vast arable land and rich mineral resources stood Nigeria out among countries of the world.
Now, Nigeria was #1 globally in palm oil exports, well ahead of Malaysia and Indonesia, and exported 47% of all groundnuts, putting it ahead of US and Argentina. Nigeria once provided 18% of the global production of cocoa. The country also produces about 65% of tomatoes in West Africa, but still imports tomato paste on a large scale.
Sad. Figures from the Central Bank of Nigeria show that Nigeria earned 234.43 billion naira in the third quarter of 2015 from non-oil exports. In the fourth quarter of that year, the figure dipped to 143 billion naira. Well, that's quite a dip, really. And as part of moves to diversify the economy, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, which Joe has expressed dissatisfaction about, has set a long-term target of growing non-oil exports from $5 billion to $18 billion by 2019 and $30 billion in non-oil exports by 2025. That's quite a tall order.
That's a long dream.
That's a tall order, really.
But I think everything is achievable, I must say. Now let's look at some products that have fairly performed better as export earner to Nigeria. Now, when Africa Growth and Opportunities Act, AGOA, came into effect, many Nigerians saw a window of foreign exchange earnings in the textile and garment section of the act and keyed into it. Now, Nigeria's textiles and apparels have been granted duty-free passage into the United States, where a large market exists for local African fabrics and designs.
Okay, that brings us to the question of rejects, Joe.
Right.
Question of rejects. Quite a lot of our goods are rejected for maybe standard, perhaps not the finishing or the finesse of what you are taking out is not so good. So when it comes to government now, talking about AGOA, how would that work out?
Yes, I think we have a couple of Nigerians who are really doing well, trying to meet the standards. You know, you can have the open windows or open doors, but if your standards are not to that level, these people will not buy it. But it is not because our people don't want to meet that standard, but because they are not well financed in some cases. You know, when you are saying that you want to, grow the economy with the export, non-oil export, that sounds fantastic. Everybody want to clap hands for you. But the point is this: are you financing these people really well? You know, when the conditions to finance them become so tedious that they cannot meet it. And you know, when we talk about cocoa and when we talk about export, and when you talk about tomato paste and all that, you will find out that then our population has not grown to this level. We have to always look at the demographics. So we are growing. And if somebody tells us we are just about whatever millions that we have, then then it wasn't. But it's about leadership. The people then, they focus on doing something great. They wanted to leave a legacy. A lot of things combined made us to achieve that. But if we have the will, if we have dedicated leaders, we can still do the same thing. Because palm oil, if you go to Okutikpupa or somewhere around, you see the plantation, you begin to wonder what is going on. Why are we not achieving so much in this area? But because the leaders are not willing, it's easier to just go to Abuja and share the money. So now, not only that, you can have cashew nuts. You know, the standard has to be there. You can have the ginger, you can have mushroom. Listen, in Kenya, they export even flowers. I mean, on a daily basis, these are flowers. People can grow these flowers and then they export it. They make money regularly. In Ethiopia, they just signed contracts and they are exporting leather goods. You know, I know a German company, Deichmann, that is buying shoes from Ethiopia to sell. You see, sometimes when the standards are not there, just like we were complaining about the Chinese standard, you see, these guys, they go there, they set up their company, and they make sure that there is someone on the ground to control it and meet the standard. This is where we need them to come. If we have the Brazilians, if we have the Italians coming into Nigeria, the Aba guys, they're very good. These guys can improve. They need good equipment. They need good machineries. Look at it. If the butter industry in Ojota can be revived and we have good machineries to make it, we can be exporting. If we can't meet the standard in America or in Europe, maybe we can still meet the standard in Ghana. Maybe we can still meet the standard in a West African country. Let us just look around that area, and those are the things. Look at the adire that is being produced in Abeokuta. These are the things we can export. But it's a shame that you see most of our leaders, they are not wearing adire. They wear the starch guinea. They wear all those kind of things that are imported, and they are saying buy made in Nigeria.
Exactly.
So there are a lot of things.
You're not wearing one.
Yes, because
you're a German economist.
Yeah, because you guys are wearing these, and you said that. So
right.
Those are the kind of things we have to look into.
Yeah, certainly. We'll come that because the issue of the Made in Nigeria idea or the dream is something we're going to talk about as we get along. Now, let's get to cocoa. Cocoa is another income earner for Nigeria. Cocoa butter and cocoa powder are released, both of which are essential to chocolate production. Now, this product is in high demand globally. Proceeds from the sale of cocoa were spent on the construction of several iconic projects in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Typical examples include the University of Ibadan Cocoa House, and in setting up the Agwambagwe Bank, now Wema Bank, there we have the cashews, and cultivated in many states in Nigeria. More than 80% of it's exported raw and unprocessed to India, Vietnam, and Brazil. where they are processed into kernels and sold at a higher value.
Now, cashew export, which Joe spoke about earlier on, generated $253 million in foreign exchange for the country in 2015. That's according to the National Cashew Association of Nigeria. They give us the data, and they're certainly on their side. Nigeria is the largest producer of cassava in the world, with an annual output of 45 million metric tons. Cassava production accounts for 20% of the total global output, but less than 1% is being exported. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audogbe, says the country is targeting to reap more than $5 billion annually from cassava production in the next few years.
The list is endless. Sesame seed, palm kernel, cake, rubber, shea butter, garlic, chili pepper, pure honey, poultry and fruit juice are also export earners for the country, among others. All right, so we've listed them.
Quite a huge list, you know. But you see, I said something about focus. You mentioned cassava. There was a time, you know, I saw ministers running around and saying they will have cassava bread.
Yeah.
Where's cassava bread today? You know, so there are things that we just dabble into and we can't complete it. And when we are saying we're targeting, it's good to have this target, but how do we achieve the target?
Does that have to do with continuity? Because the cassava bread was tinkered with during the last administration.
Right.
And I remember Additional, the Minister of
Right.
Agriculture then,
Right.
was the one championing. And I had a reporter go out to, you know, but after Additional,
Yeah, even
No,
before-
that's
But it was a
even-
wonderful. I ate cassava bread sometime
Yes.
in Nifo. It tastes really wonderful. And it's really nice.
Yes, the point is this. If we allow our researchers to go into so many things and we begin to develop some of this thing locally, we have not been able to feed ourselves enough.
but the proof that there was cassava bread
Right.
means it could be exploited, it could be exported, it could be taken advantage of.
Fantastic, but then it dies with that. So it shouldn't have died. That's what we're saying. So when you say cocoa, yes, you look at what Obafemi Awolowo had in mind. I said it's about a vision, a targeting. Then, we have the first television in Africa, the first university, the first this, the first that. We're not using oil. But right now, what we are saying is this. I mean, those things can still be done. We have lost that, but we can still get back into it. If you go through Badagry, you'll see that, you have the opportunity to have your coconuts there. In one of these South American countries, they even produce the coconuts and then use the coconut water to even now, can it. And it's selling as natural, a natural thing people can drink, and Coca-Cola has bought into that. So why can't we can encourage even our youth to go into that? But what do we find? In some of these areas, we just clear the place and turn it to housing estates. So now we are not even getting that enough of what we're supposed to get to even export. And now most people, what did they do? They just build their houses, rent it out. Most farmers are not interested. Somebody was telling me somewhere in Osun State, he saw the man, he said, look, I'd rather build a two-story building and the students will be renting it as hostels, so I don't need to go to farm anymore. So there are a lot of issues on this. But we see and we hear that our ministers are having these big targets. We want to achieve this. But the fundamentals are, if you don't correct it, if you don't have a good foundation, I tell you what, you cannot do what was done in the 50s or 60s again, because our focus has to be there. When you are talking about farming and exportation of farming, it is not all those things, all the farm produce, but you can't feed the people. But I thank God that this cashew association, and this is what we need more. We need more associations to come and rescue the situation, because the government alone cannot do it. And sometimes it seems the focus is not even there. That is why I'm not pleased with this Export Promotion Council. But if you have associations like this Coffee Association or Cocoa Association and this Cashew Association, ginger associations, they will be able
Cassava
to achieve more.
Association.
Cassava Association. Let us form more associations of the real people who will understand their problem, because they know the amount of money they are putting into it. You can't sit in your office in Abuja and say you know how to do this, because if you say you have offices around Nigeria, fine, but what are these offices doing? And these are the things we have to encourage the exporters. And the exporters, we have to work again with the Chambers of Commerce and Industry.
Okay.
We have to come together with the embassies as well. The lists are there in all the embassies, but are we getting the list? Are we promoting the list? Are we telling them what is happening, which trade fair to go, and how to go about it? The people can still do it, but we need to guide the farmers, we need to guide the exporters, and we need to fund it, because we are expecting them to bring the money back home. Good enough, but who is giving them the money to do what they have to do before they take it out? You need to meet the standard, and who is funding this? So if you fund them and you say, look, you can trace that, okay, we have funded you, with X million amount of money. So we know what you're taking out. So what is this going to generate? We even know the port you are going to discharge. We know those who are buying it from you. You know the quotation. So if the kilo of cocoa is going to cost X amount of money, you know what they are bringing in. So you can monitor it, you can trail it, and you'll be able to understand.
During Obasanjo, there was a particular scheme called the Export Expansion Scheme, a grant, which gave money to exporters to do, make standardize what they take outside of the country. But in 2010, that was stopped. The reason for that still beats my imagination.
Yes, you see, when you start something and you put the right people there, it works. But if you make it a political thing, this, it's my party man, it's my party friend, it will work. And these are the things we have to begin to look at. We have good ideas in this country. We have loads of fantastic ideas to work. But sometimes it's just for 6 months, we make noise about it, or 1 year or 2, and that's the end of it. There should be continuity. And if you put somebody who's passionate about something, who really wants to achieve, then somebody will tell you, the bureaucracy. And there are a lot of problems facing this country. And we need people who really fix into this arena of doing what they really want to do. If you continue to do all these things with this party patronage, it will work. We will not go anywhere. And that is why, if you look at some of these people, look at the American ambassador who is there. He will go on TV, he will go on radio, he will speak the language. Are we doing that elsewhere? We are not. We are not. So if you go out of this place and you don't have the money to fund your embassies, because sometimes the embassies, their staff, what's it called? These diplomats, they are not being paid regularly as well. So they cannot do that. I know some diplomats who have not been paid, and they are not encouraging even the local people. So unless you begin to understand the fundamentals, if an embassy knows, for instance, I talk about Germany, and you say, okay, look, in Hamburg, there's a company that wants this chili pepper, and you post it, and the embassy sends it down to the Export Promotion Council. They post it on their website or on the embassy's website. But how many of them have a well-coordinated, a well-designed, a consumer-useful or consumer-friendly website? We don't even have all those ones.
All right, Joe, let me ask you this. The point there is, we know that young producers or so many local producers are coming up with different things, even from our research institute.
Right.
I was mentioning cassava bread earlier on from Firo, and if you go to Naifo in Benin, for instance, they also have they package palm wine.
Yes, I've seen that. I've tasted it as well,
and it tastes almost as natural as the one. These are all products of research, but the agenda here, should it be the issue of let us produce enough to sustain ourselves before we export the extra or the excess, or should we just produce for the international market?
That is one thing you have to begin to see. When this research institute, when they do all these fantastic researches and come out with something good, you need people to take it out from them. They are not marketers. They are not salespeople. Okay. You need individuals or companies to take it out from them and now look at the marketing strategy. How do we do this? Is it for the local consumption? If you want to do the packaging for intentional consumption, it will be different. And that is why today, you begin to see that in all other countries, people bring this locally made beer to Europe. Because some Nigerians even there, they still want to, and when you're able to bring those things into the country where they reside, they will promote it. And then if you allow tourists to come into this country and they're served with what we made in Nigeria that is available. You are talking about palm wine. Where do you find the palm wine? Do you find it in the hotels? Do you find them in the restaurant? So it's not even found here. So if somebody tastes it here and says, oh, I was in Nigeria, I tasted this palm wine, it was a great thing. Maybe he's going to buy it at the airport when he's leaving. But go to the airport. Your duty-free shops in the airport will sell other drinks. They are not made in Nigerian drinks that are there. So you are beginning to see that you are not planning well. So if you are planning well and you will be doing something well, and if you see the clothes that are there, you see that somebody will tell you, and at the red dress, maybe it's overpriced. So they are not ready to buy it. So we have to begin to really look into so many things that we want to do. There are shoes people want to buy. There are clothes, there are hats people want to buy. These are the things. If you go to Brazil, you want to bring out their hat. You can do the same thing here, and you begin to see that, this will work. Obasanjo, give it to him. He was wearing native dress all over the place. He was wearing this Ankara and Adire all over the place. So he was really showcasing made in Nigeria throughout his time. So we have to begin to look into those. Like I said, we have opportunities, but we are
the president now wearing guinea.
He does that. But you see, the point is this: if we increase if we revitalize, like the textile industry, we can produce, even this Ankara. Somebody was saying it on the TV the other day. A woman was complaining that most of the designs we are buying, they are from Nigeria. They just take them there and they just produce and bring them back. You know, so we have to begin to look at how do we produce, when do we produce, and where do we sell them?
Okay.
Where do we sell?
All right. Where do we sell? That's very vital. Let's look at the African Growth and Opportunities Act, AGOA now. Now, the African Growth and Opportunities Act offers tangible incentives for African countries to continue their efforts to open their economies and build free markets.
The export opportunity, which was supposed to last from 2000 to 2020, was extended to 2025. President Barack Obama, under the policy, 38 African countries, including Nigeria, are eligible to export 7,000 product lines tariff and quota-free to the U.S. market. Presently, there are 38 eligible African countries under the Act, and some of them are Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, Botswana, Cameroon, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Namibia, Liberia, amongst others.
And presently, Nigeria-US trade is dominated by energy and energy-related products. That's oil and gas, while other sectors are neglected. Now, although the renewal is seen as a welcome development in view of the quest by the government to boost export earnings, there are fears that Nigeria may fail to take full advantage of the 10 years extension because of poor infrastructure and quality of exports. That brings us to the issue now here. The AGOA Act, as the case may be, as it is called, has automatically created a market,
That's
the
right.
United States market. And the US is a huge market, very huge. Now, when it comes to the market is already there, African producers are not taking advantage of it.
Right.
Now, who do we hold responsible here? Whether it is the businessmen who are not seeing that opportunity, or the government that is not encouraging its citizens to take advantage of what's going on in there.
Yeah, you have to look at it from both sides.
Okay.
The government has to, promote that
Okay.
for the people to know AGOA Act exists. And these are the list of the products you can export. And these are the states in America, these are the places that will require this. These are the companies. The Export Promotion Council should go out. Not just sitting there, I keep saying that. And you're not just going to one or two trade fairs and just sit there and say, look, this is Nigeria. That's not a real thing. So we have to begin to see. You read, sometimes they'll tell you that they have an agent or a marketing consultant somewhere who is going to expose Nigerians to that market. For how long? We have Nigerians overseas. There's no country around the world that you don't have Nigerians who are doing well in those places. Tap into the resources of Nigerians who will expose our products, who will help the people. The people here, they are ready. If you tell them, look, the way you have done this TVC mug, this is not for export. They are ready to say, how do we do it? I want to export. People want to make dollars out of this. But when you don't see people who will monitor you, who will guide you, you will continue to dream. And this dream will just be something that will not become a reality. So now, the businesses, that is why I said these businesses should form associations on their own and begin to go beyond, go to the embassies, find out. If you say, look, Hamburg is a big place, for instance. If you say, this is what is obtainable in Hamburg, this is in the Netherlands, this is what they want, begin to go out yourself. Don't wait for the government, because the government might say, we don't even have the budget to do all these things you are telling us to do it. But you guys in your association, after all, you pay a little amount of money as subscription. Go out and help yourself. This is what it takes. If you look at some states in Germany, for instance, you see the state of North Rhine-Westphalia, where I was, and you begin to see that they have their own export promotion division for the people in that state. Just like if you pick Sokoto or Ondo State to say, look, we want to export palm oil.
Should the states have their own
Yes,
council
after all, you have the State Ministry of Commerce. What are they doing there? Just so you keep asking yourself. You have a lot of all these ministries and commissioners and PAMSEC.
And they can't even pay salary now.
So now the point, that's what they will tell you. We cannot even pay salary. How do we go to that Hamburg? How do we go to Netherlands? But when you could do it, and it doesn't mean that you have to go first class, for goodness sake, go on the economy class or whatever class and get these things done. When you begin to make more money, you can then have some luxury out of it. So if you have the state, they set up their own commerce shops or offices in China, in all the places. And that is what they are still doing. Here in Nigeria, you have the Association of German Businesses from Germany establishing an office to protect their own interests and to tell the people out there, say, look, there's an opportunity in construction, there's an opportunity in the fishing industry. So we have to take that on our own, establish these offices independently. because it is not the government alone that would do this. If the Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industry or NASIMA say, look, we want to have our office in England or New York or in Hong Kong, fine. But you don't just sit down in Lagos and say everybody should be coming. So we need to get out of this place and begin to promote those things we have. And not just in theory, not just to take photograph and say they should download. That is absolute nonsense. Take those things there.
Obsolete calendar.
Yes, exactly. You said it. You said it. So go with those things.
I took that from you.
Let them see the product. Let them feel it. And
Okay.
then that is something, some of these things we need.
All right, Joe Femi Dagoro, thank you very much for coming on the program and enlightening Nigerians and all of us on the need. Now, one thing I'm going to take from here is there should be associations of different products.
Yes.
Not just cashew.
They have some of them
cassava
already.
and all of that. Textiles, when it comes to height and skin and so on. These are so many potentials.
But then when you say that, be careful about that. People are eating so much more in this country, and they're destroying. You're destroying the leather industry. Forget about that. Let us have good leather industry.
It's all right, that's fine. Not Pomo instead.
Thank you.
All right, that's interesting. This is where we come to the end of today's edition of the program. Thank you for spending your morning with us. Tomorrow is another time for us to come again and dwell on other issues that affect Nigeria and Nigerians. I am Mike Okwoche.
And I am Busola Mi Tunwashi. Enjoy the rest of your day.